Well, welcome, all of you. It's wonderful to have you here, friends, alumni, colleagues, and I hope some neighbours as well. This is our first annual stakeholder meeting of the university, and it's marvellous to see that you've all come to enjoy it. The event is, as I say, a first for the university. It was mandated in the latest revised Scottish Code of Good Higher Education Governance. And I'm not sure whether many other universities have yet held one. The code was partly the work of our Deputy Chair of Court, Tony Strawn, and he played a part in putting it together. All Scottish higher education institutions now observe it, so there will be more of these celebrations, I expect, around the country. But this is our first, and the evening is just the start of our exploration weekend of activities. We're opening the university's doors to those of you who are already a part of the life of the university, but also to those of you who are friends and neighbours, or just interested, as I know some of you are, to learn a bit more about what Heriot-Watt is and what it does. I'm especially pleased to welcome back some of the Heriot-Watt alumni, because for those of you who were here as students, this will be something of a rediscovery. If you have taken a walk up the main avenue from the campus, you will see that the Heriot-Watt of today looks extremely different from the one that you left on your graduation day. And that's true even if you graduated really quite recently. You will have seen when you arrived the Lyle building on your right, which is a joint project by Heriot-Watt and the British Geological Survey. And if you're here another time, I strongly recommend its gift shop. It's very good. If you walk a little further up the avenue, you will see the distinctive, wonderful, white vaulted roof of the National Performance Centre for Sport, the Oriam Centre. And directly opposite it, we now have a 4-star hotel, which was purpose-built partly in order to accommodate professional sportsmen and women visiting the campus to train in this wonderful new construction. At the far end of the loch, down on the right as you walk up the avenue, you might have seen the building that we're now putting up, which is going to be our new Discovery and Innovation Centre. It'll open its doors next year in 2019, and it will be a hub, we hope, for all kinds of exciting things, for interdisciplinary partnerships, for various creative ventures, for innovation, and for enterprise. So the fabric of our campus is changing, but so are many of the ways in which our students learn and our researchers make exciting discoveries. For our students and our research are the main reasons that we exist. This weekend will give you a terrific opportunity to see as many of the exhibitions of what we are doing. We are demonstrating and we are celebrating a lot of the exciting work which is taking place in this distinctive international university. It's also an opportunity for you to discover not just more about our facilities, but also to learn about those parts of the university which are located overseas. Because we are especially proud of the growth of our university internationally. We have campuses now at Dubai and at Putrajaya in Malaysia. And through these, we can offer our students some exceptional opportunities to study, both in Scotland and abroad. We have students based full-time in our overseas campuses, following exactly the same study program as our students here in Edinburgh. But we can also offer our Edinburgh students the opportunity to go to an overseas campus for part of their degree course through our unique Go Global program. Now, At this more formal part of our event this evening, you will have opportunities from my colleagues to show you more about the university's work and achievements. And you'll have the opportunity to hear some stories from different parts of our university community. After this evening's presentation, there's going to be an opportunity for you to ask questions. At the end of our meeting, and back in the foyer where you were a moment ago, my colleagues on the court, which is the governing body of Heriot-Watt University, and members of the university's senior executive team will be available to speak to you and to answer any further questions that you have. And you'll be able to identify us by our large name badges. We hope that you will have a really enjoyable and informative evening, and if you can, please do drop back to the campus tomorrow, where there will be opportunities to discover more about our Year of the Sea programme and to learn about more of our research, our unique history, our sports facilities, and other developments. This is a family-friendly programme this open weekend, and so if you have an aspiring university student, now is the moment to bring him or her along to look at Heriot-Watt. There'll be something of interest for everyone, and I'm sure that you will enjoy the experience. Now, I'm very pleased to introduce our Vice-Chancellor, Professor Richard Williams. Richard, all yours.
Thank you very much, Dame Frances. On behalf of staff and our student community, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Heriot-Watt University. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's now my pleasure to present some of the highlights of our past year. As Dame Frances has said, Heriot-Watt is a highly distinctive university with a pioneering heritage and spirit. Our strategy is to transform student lives through exceptional learning experiences and to undertake world-leading research that's influential and far-reaching, and to grow our international reach and contribution to developing nations. And during this academic year, we were honoured to be, in fact, the first ever Times and Sunday Times International University of the Year. We're delighted to receive this important award. The accolade for me recognises Heriot-Watt's reputation as one of the world-leading and most internationally focused universities. It recognises our achievements as a charity in serving educational needs both in Scotland and internationally. And it also reflects our passionate commitment and quality of expertise in delivering relevant teaching and research embedded in our various local communities. Of course, we've also received other awards, and we're proud this year that our student union received a national award as a top student union in Scotland for its work in supporting the student experience. So for us, here at Heriot-Watt, education is so much about a trusted partnership between student learners and between our staff colleagues. And I'm proud of our community, and I hope that you'll get a sense of that pride and the specialness of our community this evening. So, as Dame Frances has said, much of our distinctiveness, of course, originates in our Scottish roots, but we have an unusual global footprint. And as you can see in the pictures here, we have campuses in 3 regions of the world and over 28,000 students studying with us at the moment. We're truly global. We have our physical campuses here in Edinburgh, in Galashiels and in Orkney, and then in Dubai and Putrajaya, which is located close to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. We're not a university that's characterised by what some would say branch campuses, but a university that seeks to operate an integrated global model. This means that we have 1 degree certificate, We have a global governance, a single Senate, a single set of exam papers and exam boards. And this gives rise to a consistency and quality under a Scottish quality assurance system that means that we can offer exceptional opportunity to our students, in particular the offer of mobility, the opportunity on many of our programs to spend time at all of our main 3 campuses. And indeed, this is one of the reasons why we've been recognised as the International University of the Year. In fact, our internationalism comes in many ways with impact across the world. Our colleagues, our students and our alumni go out into the world and truly make a difference. We have at the moment over 123,000 alumni across the globe, many of whom we're in touch with. And of course, that alumni collection is home to one of the oldest alumni associations in the world, called the Watt Club. This brings influence, it brings opportunities, it brings a contact network, a network through which we can take Scotland literally to all parts of the world. We have numerous international connection points, and on this slide I've just got 4 pictures here to give you 4 examples. On the left in the distance you can see a picture of the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. The CEO of this building is a Heriot-Watt graduate who graduated a few years ago from Dubai. And it's incredible to have literally the top job in the world. And interestingly, any of you who are interested in studying civil engineering with us, we do run classrooms from the top of that building in city design. Again, an example of the sort of exceptional experience that we can offer at Heriot-Watt. On the second picture along in blue, you can see a picture of our thriving specialist oil college in Baku, another example of a partnership in how we deliver education into particular parts of the world. And in the 2 images on the right-hand side, examples of some of our many partners in China. In Tianjin, we have a partnership with the Confucius Center in business and economics. And across the other side of the city in Tianjin, we have major connections in brewing and distilling. And we have a number of students who are translating between Edinburgh and Tianjin as China develops its distilling industry very strongly. So just 4 examples of many of our international impact. So I just wanted to take you through just a few statistics, and some of these you'll find in your brochure. But the incredible thing is, across our network of 28,000 students from around 150 countries, over 70% of our students are from a non-UK background. In research, we remain one of the most research-intensive universities in the UK. Indeed, we're recognised globally in particular areas of expertise, recognised as being 40 out of some 160 universities in the UK for our research, and 350 out of some 2,000 universities in the world for the quality of our research on the world stage. We have research and thought leadership positions in particular areas, for example, in British Sign Language, in social housing policy, in quantum technology, in imaging disease cells in the human body. A number of areas in which we're working, and in particular, expertise in artificial intelligence and robotics, amongst others. Heriot-Watt is truly a leading light in these areas, and our passion that we have is really looking at finding solutions to many of the world's challenges. That means our students remain very much in demand for employment, and some 96% of our graduates are in employment within 6 months of graduation. And here in Edinburgh, about a quarter of our students stay in employment in the Edinburgh region. Teaching quality is at the heart of everything we do. And we were pleased this year to be recognised with the award of silver in the new Teaching Excellence Framework in the UK. But similarly, we receive awards for teaching wherever we are. For example, in Malaysia, we've been praised for supporting our students, not only in the course materials, but also in being especially emotionally intelligent people, particularly when they go into the workplace, a particular need, I think, for all of us. The student mobility program that Dame Frances mentioned, Go Global, has gone from strength to strength, with several hundred students now choosing to spend time at some of our many locations. So we're committed as an organisation to releasing the talent of our young people. And here in Scotland, we contribute heavily to leading the way in widening access. And myself, together with a senior team and court, are very proud that we're one of the leading institutions for widening access. Professor Sir Peter Scott, who's the Scottish Government's Commissioner for Fair Access, commended us by name earlier this year in his report. And 20% of our Scottish students are gaining entry through a widening access route. Internationally, we've also established widening access mechanisms in Dubai and also in Malaysia through foundation colleges. And then there's our Edinburgh Business School, a source of much pride, been operating now for over 25 years, for its open access policy for MBAs, providing opportunities for people, particularly in developing nations and refugees. It's possible to start an MBA course without prior qualification, except that you are in business. Perhaps one of our most famous graduates recently became the Prime Minister of Somalia after having studied his MBA as a refugee in Norway. This is the sort of extraordinary opportunity that we're intent on giving as a university. Well, just a very quick look at some of the numbers and more details on our finances, of course, are available in our annual report. Our income exceeds 210 million, of which around 21% comes from Scottish public funds. And you can see a bit of a breakdown here showing the resource we get from the Scottish Funding Council and other sources for tuition fees, research, and other general income. So what about our impact on our community? In line with our mission and our charitable objectives, we aim to be at the heart of the communities in which we operate. Universities and learning institutions play a hugely positive role in the economic and social impact on our communities, not only providing talent, but also driving innovation through research and supporting businesses. It has to be remembered that universities are, in fact, at the epicenter of our economy, providing talent, providing innovation, creating change. We're, of course, a large charitable business in our own right, with over 2,100 employees, providing a gross value add of some 400 million to the economy, and we believe over 8,000 local jobs. Well, of course, our heritage of applying knowledge for the good of society and building inventive, entrepreneurial, resilient minds means that Heriot-Watt has been ranked in the top 20 universities out of 160 in the UK for our knowledge transfer expertise. And as we move forward with new opportunities presented by the UK government's industrial strategy, and indeed from our global footprint, we're scaling up our activity. And as was mentioned earlier, later next year, we'll be opening our new Digital Discovery and Innovation Centre here in Edinburgh, which will benefit not only the university, but the whole local community of businesses who want to come and innovate with us collectively. Partnerships are really important for us, and we are a place of partnership in bringing people not only to create new ideas and new companies, some of whom you can see on this slide, including a number of student startups. In fact, I think we have about 34 startup companies in operation at the moment. But it's through partnerships that we're going to advance. We're passionate about it, and we're delighted that we have so many important partnerships. The Confucius Institute is one, being home to the Scottish National Sports Performance Centre that Dame Frances mentioned, Oriam, another, which is a massive community project. Our partnership with British Geological Survey, with the Lyle Centre, and of course our partnership in enterprise working with the Scottish Converge Challenge. And on our doorstep, we have our research park with about 35 partner tenants. And with these tenants at the moment, we're providing around 1,000 jobs locally, just through the research park. So we're delighted to talk with anybody later about forming partnerships. We'd all be delighted to talk with you. Well, universities, I always say, are not about organizations. They're about their people. Their people being their staff, the colleagues, our students, and our alumni network. And I'm truly proud of our staff at Heriot-Watt and our student community. All of our people across our 5 physical locations play a crucial role in the success of the whole university, whether it's our estates colleagues who've been winning prizes for the preservation of our fantastic landscape in many of our campuses, but also our leading researchers winning prizes in national awards for their impact of their research. So what about the future? What's going to happen over the 2018 and beyond? Just to give you a little bit of a taster to finish my remarks. Well, we're very excited about our future. Very excited because we're currently just setting out on an exercise where we're going to be planning what we call our Strategy 2025. And I would urge all of you indeed to log on and collect a leaflet. I think you'll see some of these. And I would invite you to join our global conversation. We would like your views on what you think is important that we should be looking at as a university as we plan together our future. And we'll be launching our new plan next year, so we really do welcome your view and your feedback. The other thing we're doing this year is, you can see in the picture here, Panmure House. This is about the completion of the national treasure, the restoration of the Scottish economist and moral philosopher Adam Smith's former home that we own, Panmure House. It's located just off the Royal Mile here in Edinburgh. Panmure House will be a centre of economic and social thought and debate in Scotland, and it will be opened later in the year. We're going to be also continuing our celebration of the Year of the Sea, of which you'll hear more in a moment. And this follows on from a fantastic year of robotics that we had last year. We're amazed to see over 1,400 school children come to the campus to learn about artificial intelligence and robotics, over 3,000 members of the public, and over 150 business partners came to talk to us about the future of artificial intelligence and robotics. And we're very much hoping that our Year of the Sea this year will continue to create a platform for interaction, celebration. Looking ahead finally to 2021, why 2021? Well, then we'll be celebrating 200 years of our existence. Heriot-Watt University traces back its roots to being the first Institute of Mechanics in 1821. And in 2021, we'll be celebrating our global Heriot-Watt University. Celebrations will follow, and I, of course, invite you to come back and join with us then. Well, I'm going to leave you now just with a very, very short film. It's about 45 seconds, but I hope it will give you a sense of the celebration that we enjoyed in January with our students, recognizing our award of International University of the Year. So it's a very short film, and I hope you'll enjoy seeing the great diversity, creativity, and talent that we have here at the university. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce our Assistant Deputy Principal for Research, Professor Mercedes Marota-Valla, to take us through our 2018 Year of the Sea celebrations. Mercedes.
Thanks, Richard, for the introduction. And I think we also have to say thanks to Richard for arranging our Scottish summer to take place this week. So well done. You take credit when needed, yes. So thank you. I'm going to be introducing the video that we're going to see next. And this video is actually about our Year of the Sea program. And our Year of the Sea program celebrates our contributions at Heriot-Watt from a wide range of disciplines. We have biologists, ecologists, social scientists, engineers, chemists, robotic engineers, mathematicians, and they are all actually working hard to get to the bottom of the unknown seas. Our campaign has been making headlines since its launch. We have reported, and this is probably something you don't know, I hope, lobsters have a secret appetite for jellyfish. Okay. And you may know brown trout, that is Scotland's most ubiquitous fish. Do you know that? Okay. Actually, they have growth spurts before they go to the sea. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a lot more prepared to actually go and play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Microplastics, they have been and they are actually a global topic of conversation and controversy. And we have experts here who are raising awareness and publishing results in this field. Our own Dr. Heidi Burnett from the Lyell Centre, she has demonstrated that carbon dioxide pulses could have an irreversible impact on some of Scotland's most valuable marine habitats and populations. And we shouldn't forget either that the staff from Heriot-Watt that actually take part in many beach cleanups with local action groups. Our engagement team was indeed overwhelmed. We received over 700 entries from local school children in our mascot competition. And quite recently, we actually welcomed Dame Professor Jane Francis, who, as you may know, is the director of the British Antarctic Survey, and she delivered a Vice-Chancellor distinguished lecture on the future of the Antarctic Ocean. I'm sure you are familiar with the Edinburgh International Science Festival, and the event that we put there that was focused on our marine expertise attracted over 5,000 people. Moving further afield, in our Malaysian campus, this year we hosted our inaugural Year of the Sea inter-campus boat competition. And if we look at our Dubai campus, we're actually working there on solving challenges for the marine logistics sector. Our campaign has been featured in Sky News, BBC, STV, The Guardian, The Financial Times, and hundreds of more outlets internationally. And it's pretty amazing, actually, that within just 5 months into our Year of the Sea, we have reached over 20 million. Stakeholders, like the Marine Conservation Society and the WWF, have published our Year of the Sea research on their websites and have disseminated through their social media channels. And politicians have actually referred to the research that we do here on microplastics during parliamentary debates. So in conclusion, I'm indeed delighted this evening to launch with you all our second film for our Year of the Sea. We are highlighting the breadth and the depth of our expertise in this area. Thank you.
There's so much that we don't know about the oceans. They control our climate, they enable us to breathe, they cover about 70% of the planet, yet we don't know what goes on in most of them. Campaigns such as Heriot-Watt's Year of the Sea are really important because they help to drive discussion and debate around our oceans, our seas, our rivers, how we actually work within these environments. There's so much research that we're doing to look into these ocean depths to demystify what's going on.
As part of Year of the Sea, I'm taking the opportunity to take my research that involves the microplastic contamination in the marine environment and present this to the general public in the form of beach cleans that we organise, but also presenting evidence to the Scottish Parliament for the purpose of generating policy to cut down on plastic pollution in the environment.
There's three main technical challenges in Dubai that makes the Year of the Sea important: land reclamation, desalination for people to drink water, and marine logistics is an important part of the Dubai economy.
In the Cyberbuild Lab, we develop new virtual reality technology to train people in hazardous environments. And this is particularly the case for all the offshore structures, and particularly wind energy and wave energy in the near future.
Scientific understanding of the shallow seas around Malaysia and Southeast Asia is an important thing for marine science and for the world to understand how these things are changing as a consequence of climate change. And recreation using the sea is a growing part of the economy in Malaysia and Southeast Asia. In social sciences, we have expertise and research on how we use the sea from a heritage perspective, both for recreational purposes, how that makes us feel better, how it improves our well-being, and how as a community and an organisation we benefit from these interactions with the sea.
For me, being at the International Centre for Island Technology has been an amazing opportunity to meet people in a range of different industries, including renewables, fisheries, people in planning in the council, to improve my own research, to improve the research of the campus.
In our Scottish Borders campus, we're doing research on safety garments to keep people safe when they're working in dangerous marine environments. We're also doing research to extract natural dyes from seaweed that can be used to colour our clothing and fashion garments.
There are so many aspects of the oceans that we don't know about as yet. It's a very exciting place for science. There's lots of new ecosystems in the ocean, in the deep oceans, in the shallow oceans, in the polar oceans, everywhere that we have yet to explore.
It's really important that we help educate the next generation in what they can do, which will make a difference in what happens to the oceans in the future. So whether they see the research that we're doing and they want to undertake careers which will actually change the oceans, make a difference, make massive discoveries, or whether their everyday lives can be changed so they can make little steps and that can have a profound effect on the oceans in the future.
That was amazing. Thank you very much, Mercedes, for reminding us that when we have the right, powerful vision, and when we bring our teams together, amazing things can happen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mushtaq Lattabi, and I'm the Provost and CEO of Heriot-Watt University, Malaysia, and it's really my pleasure to be here with you today. For 200 years, our university have been touching life and providing practical solutions to the challenges of the world, making this world a better place. And we continue to run in the same tradition. Today, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce three outstanding individuals who have a profound connection with our university, people who have made a difference through the work that they have done into the world. First, We will be hearing from Dr. Andrew Peacock, Research Fellow from our School of Energy, Geoscience, Infrastructure and Society, Aegis, about what Heriot-Watt University have to do with agriculture in India. As you will hear from Andrew, we have been working with farmers and development organizations there to develop a new irrigation technique. Andrew will tell you the fantastic results this partnership has had and the potential this new technology has to transform agriculture and improve water security, not only in India, but around the world. Please welcome Andrew Peacock.
Thank you, Mushtaq. So farming is entwined in the way that Indian people tell stories about themselves and their society. Gandhi is quoted as saying that he would have liked nothing better than to slip out of public view and busy himself on the farm. And more recent political leaders have described farmers as the pride of their nation. Now, farming is certainly important in an economic context in India. It's responsible for about a sixth of GDP, and it employs about half the workforce. And India is a global leader in the production of many vegetables, staples, and spices. Much of it produced by the smallholder farmer, of which there's 120 million in India, managing 1 or 2 acre farms and generating profits in the region of £1,000 to £1,500 per year. Now, the agricultural sector in India does have problems, much of it caused by poor productivity and by low water use efficiency. And these two issues are entwined as well in some regards. Over-irrigation of crops in India is endemic, caused in part by a subsidy scheme that was introduced to provide free or subsidised electricity to farmers for water pumping to boost their incomes. Now, the problem of over-irrigation is that it causes valuable nutrients in the soil to be washed to adjoining watercourses and aquifers, causing attendant environmental problems as these have to be cleaned for reuse. Now, these nutrients don't find their way to the crop if they're finding their way to the watercourses, and as a consequence, growth is stunted and yields drop, leading to the conclusion that the very subsidy policy that was brought in to boost farmer incomes is actually hampering their growth. Now, these issues of Indian agricultural society seemed rather prosaic to my research group at Heriot-Watt University. For about the last 2 decades, we've been working, we're a bunch of energy system analysts, and we've been working on the low-carbon transition, how we can move an energy system from being largely fossil fuel-based to wholly decarbonised over the next 2 decades. And I suppose this story is an example of how the idea of serendipity and happy coincidence are often the lubricants of successful academic research projects. So one of the partners in Energy Side of Life, one of our partners we've been working with for about 5 years, was also involved in a series of projects in water management in India. And through discussions with them, it became apparent that some of the forecasting technologies that we were developing for quantifying renewable generation from wind and solar could be adapted and applied to predict how much water a crop needs over the next time horizon, being a day or a week. And these conversations deepened, and we brought in Indian partners, engineers and water pump manufacturers, and we developed a proposal that won funding from the UK government in March 2017. And what we were seeking to do in that project was deliver a precision irrigation system that would be affordable for the smallholder farmer, and that would deliver the right amount of water to the crop at the right time, and that process would be automated. So we co-created the system with farmer cooperatives in Tamil Nadu in the south of India, where water scarcity and stress issues are at their most severe. And the system that we developed, we deployed in a farm in Tamil Nadu that grew a range of different vegetable crops, including okra, lettuce, long bean, and pumpkin. And the results we found from the farm were quite staggering. We saw an increase in yield of 30%, which was effectively an increase in farmer income of 30%. And we saw a doubling of water use efficiency. And to put that into some context, to grow 1 head of lettuce in India on a typical farm uses approximately 160 litres of water. And using our system, we reduced that to 50 litres, which is somewhere near the global average for lettuce production. The project has received significant interest, so we have won multiple environmental awards, and we were selected by the funder as a project exemplar from the cohort of projects they funded that year. We've created a commercial entity to commercialise the intellectual property arising from the project, and it has been successful in attracting seed funding that is allowing us to develop prototypes, design iterations on the prototypes, which we are deploying in multiple pilot sites across India as we speak. The project's been hugely rewarding for all the partners, both UK and Indian, all of whom have an equal stake in the commercial entity. I don't think anybody 2 years ago would have predicted that a bunch of energy systems analysts working in cold and rainy Edinburgh would have had a piece of technology that would have been of use to farmers in India to produce lettuce using just a bucket full rather than a bathtub full of water. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, for that insight. It's stories like that that make me personally very proud to be associated with this university. So think about it, to hear that our technology has decreased water used by farmers by over half and increased their crop yield and their income by a third is truly inspirational. It will have impacts not only on the environment, but also on their socio-economical being. And imagine if this can be done for these farms in India, what can we do if we can roll this in even on a larger scale? It's truly, truly amazing. So I now have the honor of introducing one of our very own engineering undergraduate students, Melanie Hennis Cook. Melanie will tell us how she has been engineering a better world and how, as a true engineer, she has overcome challenges along her way. Before I was asked to introduce her, I asked her what project you worked on. She said, I worked on many, many projects because I am very special. And I really think she is special. Please welcome Melanie. Thank you.
Hi there, I am Melanie. I'm an engineering student here at Heriot-Watt University. My journey here began in 2014, and that same year I was diagnosed with Stargardt's disease, a low vision condition that doesn't allow me to see the blackboard in lectures, read normal size print, or even see the faces of my friends when they walk past. However, the past 4 years have seen me develop my academic career with great success. The story I'm about to tell you involves exotic travel, global friendships, and the developing of skills as an engineer and entrepreneur. But this is just the beginning. My story with the university goes far beyond the campus. Did you know that 26 million people in Tanzania drink contaminated water on a daily basis? In 2015, I traveled to Tanzania with a friend of mine in order to visit his family. There, I met Sakina. Sakina was my friend's niece, a 6-year-old kid that, during my stay there, was fresh as a daisy and cared for me with her innocent love, making my stay there very warm. It was only 1 month after I came back to the UK that I was notified by my friend that Sakina had passed away due to suddenly falling sick with cholera. This really touched me. Like Sakina, 45% of Tanzanian children are at constant risk of falling sick due to contaminated water. Last year, the Royal Academy of Engineering opened a competition called Engineering a Better World. Then I knew, this is my chance. I wanted to do something to help children like Sakina. So I organized a team of 6 members, composing 3 different undergraduate levels, 4 different subjects, and 5 different countries. One of my team members even came from the Malaysia campus and now transferred to Edinburgh to continue his studies. The Heriot-Watt chaplaincy acted as a catalyst for the forming of this team. As I'm a staff and resident there, I'm constantly meeting international students who study all kinds of exciting things. Hence, when I tried to resolve to engineer a better world, it was easy for me to bring together a multidisciplinary team that will be ready to solve the problem and help children like Sakina. Together, we designed a water filtration system that used the natural resources of Tanzania. And we went down to London to the Royal Academy of Engineering and presented our project. And we won. We were selected to go and compete in the Global Grand Challenges for Engineering Summit in Washington, D.C., where we came together with the winning teams from China, the US, and many worldwide recognized engineering leaders. During our stay there, we benefited from the direct experience of a major conference, meetings with big-name technology and engineering researchers and employers, as well as a series of business development workshops that have really changed my perspective about my own career. Returning back to the UK after our American adventure, I sought ways to further improve my academic skills and other skills as well. I achieved a partnership with IES, based in Glasgow, a Scottish SME. During my time there, I learned that the software could benefit the subjects that we study at the university. This summer, I have applied for funding from Energy Technology Partnership in order to carry out a joint project between Heriot-Watt University and IES, the first such funding available for students. And I have been successful, meaning that this summer I will continue to work towards engineering a better world. The past 4 years have been a roller coaster, starting with a shocking diagnosis, but developing in ways that I would have never imagined. The support that Heriot-Watt University has given to my personal and professional life has been outstanding. Hence, I want to continue my relationship further in the future years, as my younger sister has decided to apply to study here. I am jealous of her years ahead. However, I cannot guarantee her that she will win a trip to America, compete at a global conference, or land a research grant before she finishes her undergraduate studies. Thank you very much for listening.
What a remarkable story. You know, we all make progress as a human race, one challenge at a time. And that was really an outstanding story of how to convert not only a personal challenge, but a global engineering challenge into an opportunity. That's what makes me personally proud as an educator, as a father, and also as an engineer. Thank you very much, Melanie, for engineering a better world. And finally, I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Stuart Speak. Stuart is the founder and managing director of Soltropy, which was founded by him to develop the concept of an ice-immune solar thermal panel. He's passionate about solar energy and has found a good companionship in his relationship with us here at Heriot-Watt University, where we now are working together on a number of significant strategic and innovative projects. Please welcome Stuart Speak.
Thank you, Mushtaq. For decades, the use of renewable energy has mainly been associated with the issue of climate change. But did you know that 1 in 7 homes in Europe are currently in fuel poverty? They could benefit from lower cost energy, as we all could. Solar thermal panels take the sun's free energy and convert it into usable heat for the home. So why hasn't this technology been used to help solve these issues? Well, one of the main barriers is cost. Typical UK domestic systems are over £4,000. I'm Stuart Speak, founder of Soltropy, and we've invented a solar thermal panel that is half this cost. Its patented modular technology actually allows the system to freeze without damage. That means you can use the existing hot water cylinder, drastically reducing cost. So how did this idea become a market-ready product? Well, I've always been interested in renewable energy, and a few years ago decided that I would put a solar thermal panel on my own roof. So I got the quotes, and it just didn't make economic sense. Paybacks were well over 20 years. So it got me thinking. And being a canny Scot, some of my friends might say tight, I decided that I would get the necessary training and I would put the solar panel on my roof myself. So I did it, and I did the install, and the most time-consuming and costly part of the whole job was replacing the existing hot water cylinder, which was perfectly good, with one which was compatible with antifreeze. And the only reason you need antifreeze in the system was because in climates which experience freezing, if the solar panel on the roof had water in it and it froze, it would become damaged. But it got me thinking, why not have a panel that can freeze and not be damaged? That way you can use the existing hot water cylinder and save on cost. At the time I was working for Gore-Tex in Livingston, and I had a long commute from Glasgow every day, so I had plenty of time to think. And in 2012 I came up with the idea of the ice immune system. So that night, the first thing I did when I got home, I went on my computer and I checked to see, had anybody done this before? And no one had done it. As far as I could see, no one had thought of doing it in this way before. So then I thought, well, how am I going to develop the idea? And by luck, basically, Innovate UK, which at the time were actually called Technology Strategy Board, were running a competition for small companies to work with experts, basically other companies where they lacked that skill. The only problem was the deadline was the next day. So in the space of a few hours, I formed Soltropy. Coming up with the name was actually the hardest part. But anyway, I formed Soltropy, registered for VAT, and applied, and I won the award. Talk about working to tight deadlines. So anyway, I used the grant to work with a patent lawyer. And we basically filed a patent in 2013, and that then allowed me to start talking to potential partners. The actual patent was granted in 2015, so it is a granted product, which was great. So again, how do I develop this? How do I find these partners? And that's where Interface came in. Interface is an organization which is like a dating agency for industry and academia. They put me in touch with Heriot-Watt University and Dr. Tig O'Donovan here. And that started a long relationship where we proved the technology bit by bit. It wasn't a big bang project. It was a small grant, £5,000. Let's prove this, prove this, prove this. And we built up a really strong case that this technology would actually work. So then in 2015, along with Heriot-Watt, we won a grant for just under £200,000 to do a full-scale pre-production prototype. The project ran for 1 year and was a success. Proving the design, we had a modular, ice-immune solar thermal panel that proved the feasibility that this would work. And this is actually a picture of one of the test sites that we had. But further R&D was required, and the efficiency wasn't quite what we wanted it. We wanted a little bit more. And then we obviously had to test the system. So that's where Heriot-Watt Dubai campus came in. They allowed us to put a test site on the roof, and it allowed us to test the system throughout the winter months with almost constant sunshine. And at the end of it, we had a tested, validated product which was ready for certification. So this is me last month. I was awarded the Made in Scotland Inventor of the Year for my idea, which was absolutely amazing. You can see I'm quite pleased there. Normally I don't smile. That was me with a big smile. So the collaboration with Heriot-Watt has been hugely beneficial for us. It allowed us to leverage Heriot-Watt's amazing resources, both locally and globally. And without Heriot-Watt and Dr. O'Donovan, I doubt my idea would have seen the solar light of day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stuart. You know, every achievement that humans have achieved is done through conceiving, designing, implementing, and operating, and through converting challenges into opportunities, and through overcoming failure and difficulty. And you've exhibited all of that. Thank you very much. I really hope that our speakers will be staying with us during the event so that if any one of us have questions for them, they will be there to answer. But with this, I would like to hand the stage over to Chair of Court and the other members of the stage. Thank you very much.
Well, now it's your turn. I hope you can have some questions for us. That's part of the object of having an evening like this. We've got a tremendous array of firepower up this end. We have Tony Strawn, who's the Deputy Chair of Court, Dermot Cohn, who's the President of the Student Union, Graham Watson, who chairs our Finance Committee. We have Jandy Stevens, who chairs the Audit and Risk Committee, Anne-Marie Pile here, who is the Secretary of the University, and Julian Jones, who is the Vice Principal. Have I got that right? Yes, thank you. Yes, there are so many titles in this university that I occasionally get lost. In front, I have another array of heads of department, of head of the Dubai campus. So ask anything you can, and I think we can probably find an answer. Who would like to stick a hand up first? Is there anybody who has something there burning to ask? Or you can ask one of our speakers. Or you can order a solar panel if you want. That's anyone who would like to put up a question. The problem is, if one of us asks the question ourselves, which is the usual headmistress's task, then it's a bit of a giveaway. But well, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should ask Mushtaq and just what it is about being part of Heriot-Watt that excites you so much, and what it is that the Malaysia campus does, which is special. So somebody come with let's get Mushtaq to be put you up. Yes, here you are. Here's Lorna with a microphone, and at least that gives us one.
What excites me about Heriot-Watt?
No, what's exciting about
It's the tartan.
About the tartan is fantastic. Tell us about the tartan. Tell us how you come to be here.
Well, you see, I'm relatively new here. I've been here for only a year and a half. And I've worked for another university for 17 years in Malaysia, one of the best universities there. And I never thought I'm going to leave it. But, the opportunity came to do something different on a global scale. And that's what excited me about the experience. And when before this, I visited Scotland. I went to Glasgow. I'd never been to Edinburgh. So my first visit to Edinburgh was when I joined Heriot-Watt. And I fell in love with the country, with the spirit, with the people, and with the university. And I started reading about the country, reading about its culture, and about the great university that we are part of. And I realized that, we have this beautiful tartan. So I actually went on and I made the kilt. And now I wear this in Malaysia as well. Yeah. And I'm planning to make the second Tuesday of every month our Tartan Tuesday. And the reason is because that was the day, the first lecture of, what was the first school of mechanics, which was what was Heriot-Watt in 1821. It started on a Tuesday at night. So I'm sort of becoming an honorary Scot. Yes, I'm really proud of the country, of the university, and of its pioneering spirit. And I am working with my colleagues in Malaysia to really transform this spirit to the youth of Malaysia and the region. Yes.
Bravo. Well, that's a very nice answer. Thank you.
I can take more questions, actually.
Well, I will get all the male members of court to wear kilts before I'm finished. How many? Any other questions? Yes, please.
The next strategy was mentioned. Are there any themes coming out of responses yet? Is there any indication of what might be popular amongst people that are responding?
Would you like to take that, Principal?
Yes. This is early days for our strategy, and we're using a variety of methods to see where people's interests lie. We ran in our blog last week 5 areas where we did a poll and said, which of these 5 areas do you think the university could really be number 1 in as a university in the world? And from that poll, interestingly, an area that's, I think, quite close to many people's heart is the area of well-being and community. Because I think, as many of us know, the actual incident of student and indeed staff mental health has been a growing concern across all universities in the UK and indeed in Malaysia and Dubai too. So I think as a university, there are things that we can do about that, things that we're trialling in Malaysia, and indeed Mushtaq might want to talk about that. But that, I think, is going to be a really important theme for us going forward, because we do want to produce and help to create people who are going to flourish in their career, people who are going to be resilient to the challenges of global society and living. And I think we have a duty, actually, to do that. So that's one example of a theme that is, I think, starting to emerge, but it's early days. Thank you for your question.
Do you like that theme? Do you think that that's one that is appropriate for a university like this?
Absolutely. I think in terms of research and staff and students, probably across the board, it's definitely, I think, something in the modern world we need to absolutely be at the forefront of. So
good, great. Any other question? Yes.
People could hear my voice. In the presentation of the principal,
Hang on one moment. Here's Lisa with a microphone.
Thank you,
Lisa. From the presentation of the principal, he mentioned the rising building that is the Discovery and Innovation Centre, and I wonder if it might get more information on how that is likely to impact on what we do in the future, perhaps with people outside, but also with our staff and students.
Yes, well, I think this is an opportunity to invite Jill Murray, who's leading this project, to talk a little bit about that. Just as a backdrop, we know that the digital skills are so critical to the future, and the Discovery and Innovation initiatives allows us to bring together and develop skills for our students and staff in that domain. And I wonder whether Dr. Murray might like to say a little more about that.
There's a microphone.
Yeah, delighted, Richard. So our Discovery and Innovation building is our new flagship building, which is due to open in early 2019, and it's embracing a new philosophy of learn by doing, which is very much in our heritage, and it's combining pioneering approaches to learning and teaching, and also entrepreneurial activities and engaging with business, and doing all of that within one big innovative space. So we're excited to bring together entrepreneurs of the future, as Richard said, using digital technology to connect here on campus, to connect with our other campuses in Galashiels and Orkney, and also to connect globally so that collectively we can start to solve global challenges, and I guess carry on the inspiring theme that we've had before about making the world a better place.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any more questions? Well, if there aren't, there are, yes.
It seems a shame not to hear from everybody on stage. That they look so wonderful up there. It would be really good to hear what you think, one by one, I guess, very quickly, what you think the real achievement you would like the university to make in the next year, so that when we come back next year, we can see if that's really materialised. So just one thing, perhaps, that everyone on stage hopes would be achieved this year.
Tony.
Looks like I'm first up. Thank you, Mark, for that. I think from my perspective, one of the areas where this is a unique offering that we have that we could build upon, and that is to build on the Go Global platform to enable more of our students to be able to transfer for semesters or parts of semesters between here and Malaysia and Dubai, or vice versa, because we do genuinely offer the same degree in every place, and therefore we need to solve the logistics to enable more people to take advantage of
that. For me, it's going to be the student voice and how students engage in the academic community here. I feel like ensuring there is an academic community is integral to how a university operates, and ensuring the students are co-collaborators and partners in everything that we do here it will be integral to the future of this university, and I hope to see a significant development of that in the next year ahead, and I know that will continue, but just supporting it and making those students' voices heard is going to be key to that.
Graham.
Yeah, so I would like, this time next year, I'd like the Scottish public to recognise that the success of the Scottish rugby team is due to Oriam.
Well done. Principal, do you want to try one?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have the most fabulous strategy that's going to be such an inspiring and energy-giving entity and creation that I think will be firing on all cylinders. And in particular, picking up Tony's comment, this idea of borderless education, wherever a student wishes to go, there will be no barriers to enabling students to transfer across our university.
I'm going to give myself the last word. So, Jandy, I'm going to start with you on this side.
Well, what I'd like to see is a successful spin-out from some of the work that we've been doing. You've been hearing about some fantastic work, and some of it spinning out from our own learning and knowledge. I'd like to see something on our research park with investment from us and doing really well. We've got brilliant ideas in this university. We should capitalise on them for the benefit of everybody.
I would like to see our ongoing commitment to widening access grow. Higher education changes lives. It certainly changed mine. I wouldn't be the secretary without having the privilege of enjoying higher education, and I'd like to see this university do that for more people.
And Julian?
Richard, of course, has given the answer, but I wonder if I could possibly turn it back into a bit of a question. You see, if you'd looked at where Heriot-Watt came from, if you thought about how the college began, if you thought about that conversation, real or apocryphal, which took place in Robert Bryson's clock shop back there in 1821 with Leonard Horner, we all know exactly what it was that they wanted to achieve. This idea of being able to provide a practical education to enable people who otherwise would have been denied that opportunity, the chance to go and contribute something to society. You knew what the strategy was then. We can recite it easily enough. If we'd been having the conversation in 1966, when the university got its charter, it would have been much broader, certainly not just about giving people a technical education in Edinburgh, but essentially the strategy was there in the Robbins report, and anyone who's not read the recommendations of the Robbins report, which is what brought this university and many others into existence in the late 1960s, I recommend you do, because in many respects it's actually prescient and contemporary. But if we do it now, could I express what I think our strategy should be in quite such a clear way as in the shop in 1821, or the House of Commons or Palace of Westminster in 1966? I really couldn't. I've got some thoughts about it. It's obvious that it's global rather than national or metropolitan. It's obvious it has something to do with giving opportunities to people who otherwise wouldn't have them. It's obvious it's got something to do with a practical education too. But I can't quite yet put it all together, and that's why it's a question for you lot.
Well, I don't think I've been left with very much to choose from, but I come from a university culture which put an enormous amount of effort into development, into persuading the alumni to think about how their experience and in being educated had benefited their careers. So I suppose that what I would wish for would be that every one of our alumni who felt that their time at Heriot-Watt had been life-changing would resolve that every year they would give this university a minimum of £5 for the year. And with that, it sounds a small amount, but with that, we could educate every student who couldn't afford otherwise to pay their rent or to come to this university. We could make their experience much more comfortable, and we could also probably put quite a lot of money into studying the sea for another year, and that would be a wonderful thing. Thank you all so much for coming. It's been a lot of fun. It isn't over yet because, as you've heard, we're going to have exhibits all weekend. And if you go out there now, if you can think of any more questions, we'd all love to answer them. And perhaps you can give us some answers as well. Thank you very much and safe journey home.